Everyone. Welcome to this special event. My name's Deborah Foy. I'm the Executive Director of Opportunity International, based in the UK. I can see that so many of you have joined. Thank you for introducing yourselves. And I think we should go on and get started. Firstly, if you may, just a little bit of housekeeping. If you have any questions as we're speaking together today, you can just submit those to where it says Q&A below on your screens. And our moderators will see your questions and will save those for the question and answer session at the end of the call. We are so grateful that you're here today because it's a sign of your commitment to both our clients and also, I imagine, to your curiosity about the incredible innovations that are happening in the world right now. I know that innovation is quite the buzzword these days. From TED Talks to TikTok, leaders in our world are really doubling down on how we can innovate our thinking, our products, and our systems to accelerate the world around us. And innovation really is that big accelerator. But at Opportunity International, innovation isn't just the word of the day. It's part of our deep history in serving the most marginalized people around the world. Opportunity has always deeply practiced the art of listening to our clients and following the need. And that means we're building new products, we're finding new partners. In some cases, we're even creating new markets. When we have a critical mass of people and partners who can support our clients there, it's then that we begin looking at the next need. Our innovations have stretched from financial services, making small loans back in the 70s, to running savings groups. We've innovated to build sector solutions, serving farmers, who we'll hear from today, and educators, and even people living on less than 50 cents a day. Throughout our journey, technology has consistently paved the way for our progress. But today, you and I stand at a threshold where the rapidly changing role of technologies can complement our design methodologies more than ever before. I believe that innovation can significantly shift both the economics of potential solutions and the timeline for delivering them. And this creates significant opportunities for our clients. So today we'll be discussing the crucial role that digital innovations will play in building a future for our farmers, where they can provide for their families, send their children to school, feed their communities, and live their lives with dignity and with purpose. So let me make some introductions. I'm really delighted to be joined by Opportunity's Head of Agricultural Finance, and Strong, along with Bhahati Zimba, who's a member of our agricultural team and works directly with farmers. And I know that you and I are probably both very excited to hear from our special guest today, CHIMALIZENI, one of our farmers who not only has thrived as a partner with Opportunity, but has grown to be a leader in her community. Anna's piloting new digital tools and training, and she'll be sharing with us what that experience has been like for herself and the families around her. Now, as you hear from Tim, Bhahati, and Anna, no doubt you'll have lots of interesting questions. So just a reminder, could you please pop those questions in the Q&A box at the bottom of your screen as we go along. And those questions will come directly to us, and we will have time at the end of the session for a short Q&A. So I'd like to kick us off by starting with Tim, who's been leading our agricultural finance program for the last 5 years here at Opportunity. Tim, perhaps would you mind telling us a little bit about our agricultural work for listeners who perhaps aren't familiar with Opportunity? And then I'd really love to hear you talk about how technology is really revolutionizing the work that you and your team are doing today. Thanks, Tim.
Thanks, Deborah. And again, my gratitude for, as Deborah expressed, for everyone who's joining us here today. That's such an absolute pleasure to be able to introduce more of our team, as well as our farmer support agents and our clients in terms of the work that we do. Deborah, I think the first thing, though, is really the importance of agriculture and how investing in agriculture is literally one of the most powerful actions that we can do to improve rural livelihoods. More opportunities in agriculture mean that fewer people go hungry, fewer children miss school, and more rural families can build sustainable livelihoods. At Opportunity, our agricultural finance program is driven by a singular focus on scaling rural prosperity. The reason that our portfolio exists is centered on the fact that the majority of smallholder farmers still, unfortunately, only produce at 20 to 30% of their potential yields. And yet, smallholder farmers make up over 80% of Africa's farms. So unfortunately, the current market assessments indicate that only 3% of agricultural finance demand is currently met, leaving anywhere between $160 to $200 billion in the annual financing gap for farmers. But for us, this represents, yes, a significant problem, but also a very considerable market opportunity. So as Deborah mentioned, building upon Opportunity's unique 50-plus year history in innovation and pro-poor financial services, our agricultural finance program is pursuing a targeted mandate to address the rural financing gap through two primary channels. The first is increasing the flow of capital into agriculture through partnerships with local financial institutions, and second, providing support to quality farmers. Over the past year, we've been able to grow and expand our reach to new markets and previously unreached farmers. Through 2023 alone, we've expanded with 7 new banking partners, helping us expand our cumulative capital unlocked output to over $370 million for nearly 1 million smallholder farming families. As a result, I believe that we've been able to really establish a strong foundation to build up from, learning from the farmers that we serve, farmers like Anna, and as we support them with access to training, support, and financial services. Within all of this, we've been able to stay true to our mandate, ensuring that 83% of new clients onboarded are earning less than $2.50 a day when they start. And having increased our program outreach to 65% of our farmers being women, despite both agriculture and finance being heavily male-dominated sectors. So our end goal is really quite simple. We want to see and enable farmers to increase production, income, and employment, really to build thriving, resilient households in their rural communities. In short, our objective is to help farmers to grow more and to earn more through financial services, training, and support that are uniquely tailored to smallholder farmers in sub-Saharan Africa. So there's a lot to unpack there. There's a lot that we're hoping to share in terms of what we're doing with digital innovations. But I think the starting point in terms of the main innovation with our program that we should focus on, and really part of what's so exciting for me about inviting Anna to join on the webinar tonight, is that one of the key pillars of Opportunity International's global shared narrative is a deep belief in the importance of peer-to-peer support. And we've found this to be a particular truth when it comes to agriculture as well. Farmers learn from other farmers. Farmers trust other farmers. As such, our agricultural finance program has been investing in, learning from, and aggressively scaling our farmer support agent model. For us, farmer support agents are local trusted leaders within their own rural communities who operate in partnership with Opportunity. We seek to amplify their voices as we commission them as agents and digitally enable them to extend training in agricultural practices, data collection, and organizing their average client base of roughly 150 fellow farmers in order for them to have better access financial services and access markets through aggregation. So really shortly, what we've really learned from this is we've built out now well over 1,000 farmer support agents over the years and continue to work with them, is that they're also a huge source of wisdom and learning for our program. So for us, we've really been in partnership in developing more standardized practices and human-centered design. We've been blessed to have a new team coming from our digital innovations group with experience from Microsoft and Amazon, Apple, and Google, and others, in terms of how do we best listen to the people we serve so that we build products in the best way. So for us, human-centered design is really a key piece. None of us want to just build an app for having an app. We want to make sure that we're solving real problems for real farmers. So today I want to highlight just 2 key challenges from farmers that we've been hearing, and really some of the current piloted digital solutions that we have live in the field. So we'll show you how the solutions work, and we'll talk about two things: time lost that could be better spent in business and in the field. As Muhammad Yunus famously said, connectivity is productivity. And second, what to do when you need to solve a problem, but you're far away from resources, from information. How can opportunity be a partner in terms of developing solutions for that? So first thing I want to talk about is really quickly with Bhahati and Anna, just for a minute, about our saving group meetings. These are regular meetings that farmers attend with opportunity staff. This is ubiquitous across rural communities in Africa, where they're learning critical financial training. And these are also absolutely critical intermediaries, as many of the farmers that we continue to serve are geographically far out of reach of traditional financial services. Bhahati, can I ask you a question really quickly? What is the challenge with these meetings? These have been going on since the 60s. How could they be improved?
Thank you so much, Tim. Actually, our major part, as you said, is training in building capacity building for our farmers. But in addition to the trainings, we also conduct business. Each farmer is bringing a small contribution, like 50 cents, to contribute to a central pool of funds that the farmers should use as a bank. They do bank and then back out each other as loans. So essentially acting as their own bank, which is extremely useful for those who aren't in a position to get loans from a financial institution that will mostly link them with. But apart from the business transactions, we have a secretary most of the times who records every minute of the transaction, every minute of the meeting, and all transaction. Actually, they document it in a paper. So we have this book that we had developed earlier on before Opportunity International developed a Thrive app, VSLA app. And the secretary has to record each and everything in terms of registration, loans, fines, and each and everything that has to be recorded. And previously, before this book, they were using a hardcover like this one. So it actually consumed a lot of time because it has to be filled, this hardcover, and then we migrated to this book, a VSLA ledger, and then it has to fill again in this book, a passbook. So it takes time, unfortunately, close to 2 hours or more. So about a year ago, Opportunity started building out different solutions that could help our farmers and VSLA with record keeping. So they produced the first version of an app called VSLA app, and it is now digitizing all the transaction that takes place during the meetings. We can record attendance, as I've said earlier on, balance of the shares, contributions, fines, and many more, even including the loans that they borrow to one another. So we are able now to have two major advantages over this. First, it gives us a greater accuracy in our record because now it's just at the tip of the finger. They just click on the phone, on the app, and all the record. If they want to record about the loans, it's just at the tip of a finger. If they want to record about the registration, the fines, and the social welfare, everything happens accurately. But it's also secondary, we save an incredible amount of time during the process. But I will let our special guest to tell us more about that. Because if I talk, the owners that are doing this work, our farmer support agent, Anna, is here. So I would like to introduce you to our star here, a farmer support agent, Anna. She's not only a farmer herself, but she brings opportunities training to other 100 farmers in her community who know her, trust her, and look up unto her. Anna speaks Chichewa, the local language in her village, but also mostly in Malawi, we speak Chichewa. So I will translate this discussion for her so that she can flow naturally. Anna.
Yes.
Muli bwanji?
Ndili bwino. Kaya niyo muli bwanji?
Ndili bwino. Tatiuzako tufuna timve zimene ukudziwa chiyambire ni kugwiritsa ntchito VSLA app. Yathandizira motani ku mikumano yanu?
Kuseka mupambiri. Choyambirira ndifotokozere nkhani ya mkumano wathu pasanabwere VSLA app.
First of all, I would like to discuss or to tell you how our meetings were before VSLA app or Thrive app.
Timagwiritsa ntchito ma hardcover.
We were using hardcovers.
Tikugwiritsa ntchito ma hardcovers zimatenga nthawi yayitali.
So when we're using hardcovers, it used to take a lot of time.
Zimenezo zimapangitsa kuti mabanja ambiri akasokonekera.
This made our families to broke. Families were breaking down.
Komanso ana samasamalira.
Our children were not well taken care of in our homes.
Komanso ndeti pa business ting'ono sitimathera kupangidwa futi anthu amakhala nthawi yayitali kubanki nkhundi.
Our small businesses were not thriving because women were spending more time at the VSLA because of the record keeping.
Zimenezi zimatenga nthawi yo 2 hours tikadagwira.
We were there during our meetings. It would take us 2 hours or more.
Ndiye kuchokera apo kutabwera VSLA apo.
So with the introduction of VSLA app from Opportunity,
ndi chinthu chofunikira kwambiri kwa banki nkhundi.
It has been very essential for our village savings and loan groups.
Pa zifukwa zitatu kapena kupitirira yapo.
For 3 reasons, but there are more reasons. I only mentioned 3 reasons.
Choyambirira.
First of all,
nthawi yathu inacheretsedwa.
Our time for meetings has been reduced.
From 2 hours.
Kuchokera about 2 hours. From 2 hours, yes, Anna.
30 to 40 minutes.
Now we can meet 30 to 40 minutes.
Yes. Shoga yapo.
From there,
nthawi ana mayamba kusamalika.
We are able also to take care of our families, but also mostly our children.
Komanso mabanja ndiye pano pakhazikika.
Our families now, women are now trusted because they are at home in good time.
Komanso mabusiness aja ndi akumapangika bwinobwino.
Women are able to do small scale businesses without abandoning them for a long time.
Umenewo ndiye ubwino wa nkhani ya VSLA app.
That is the goodness about the VSLA app. Anna.
Yes.
Kwambiri.
Bon.
Bhahati, I'm going to pick up from there if I can. So looking at that same idea of connectivity as productivity, one of, I think, would be one of the big values of digital innovation is also how do we increase the speed of delivery of services? One of the things that we've learned is that the training that's being deployed for farmers is invaluable for them. But questions don't wait when there's a problem in your farm. Sometimes quick answers are critical, especially when farmers have to pivot because of a natural disaster or weather change. This last year here in Malawi, we had a tropical storm called Cyclone Freddy, which in recent years, actually I think in all of recorded history, has now been described as the strongest tropical storm to hit the Southern Hemisphere. What I think was really unique about the storm last year was that it's also created extended rains throughout the rest of the growing season. And as a result, many of the farmers we had started experiencing new problems. Anna herself has really focused in terms of supporting farmers in growing soy. And we had one of the worst outbreaks of soy blight ever, I think, in the history recorded in Malawi. And at that same time with those issues, we had welcomed our digital innovations group as well, much to my excitement, a number of board members and Atul Tandon, our CEO, to come and visit and see some of the work that was happening. In these very offices, we were able to hold a human-centered design workshop together with farmer support agents, including Anna herself. And what I think was really exciting was we tested new innovations, new models, And this is the first time I've seen a smallholder farmer or a farmer support agent like Anna sitting in front of a laptop, logging into ChatGPT to start asking it questions. Now, Anna's question first and foremost was, what can I do about soy blight in my field? How could I possibly overcome this? How can I support the farmers in my community with this issue? We've been trying to get advice for weeks now. And literally within seconds, generative AI, ChatGPT in this case, started responding with a series of very accurate prompts. Now, there's issues with broader uses of ChatGPT. Even some of the recommendations it was given was saying, buy something that you would buy in the Midwest and apply, which isn't necessarily available here in Malawi. But what struck me was Anna's response right there, where she turned to my boss and to our board members and said, if I had this tool right now, my farmers would think I'm a genius.
Just a reminder, as you hear Anna and Bhahati and Tim speak, there will be an opportunity for Q&A in about 10-15 minutes. So do keep your questions coming in, put them in the Q&A box at the bottom of the screen, and our moderator will be looking at those, and we'll be coming to that right after we return to Anna, Bhahati and Tim. Okay, thank you.
This technology, how it was built, and what are some of the results that have come out of it. So Bhahati, if you want to start there.
Bhahati, you might need to unmute.
Yes, they built an app that uses generative AI called Ulangizi. Farmers can open it through their WhatsApp and cell phones. And most of the farmers do have a very basic cell phone from where they can use Ulangizi. And our farmer support agents have these phones that have been, we have downloaded Ulangizi app from Opportunity, and they can ask anything about their crops. It answers about farming practices and challenges in real time, right from the fingertip. They can ask about crops. They can also ask about their animal husbandry and anything that they would like to have in relating to their farming. The answers they receive are crucial, but also we are just happy that it gives accurate answers only from Opportunities agricultural training curriculums and the local government resource from the Ministry of Agriculture. This is important because it means farmers will only receive input, but also answers reliable, which comes from a localized source. I will ask Anna a question, and I'll also translate for her. Tell me how you first tried out Ulangizi, when you first asked it. Ana ndimafuna undifotokozereko komanso utifotokozere kuti kodi zinali motani utayiserera koyamba kugwiritsa ntchito Ulangizi, komanso unafunsa kuti bwanji. Pali mafunso amene unafunsa? Yes, Anna.
Choyambirira,
First of all,
nditamva za Ulangizi app,
when I heard about Ulangizi app,
mutu mwanga munayendayenda zinthu.
a lot crossed my mind.
Ndipo ndinaganizira kuti ndeti ndi chinthu china chake chimene chofuna chitamusogolera mulimi.
So I was thinking that it is something really important that wants to take a lead in farming, but also to lead farmers.
Kumano sindinkadzira kuti ungagwiritse ntchito bwanji nthawi imene ndamva koyamba.
But I was unable to configure how I can use it before I started using it.
Kenako ndinachifunsa mafunso.
So thereafter, I asked some questions.
Ndipo ndinapasidwa mayankho pumpopo.
And I was given responses there and then.
Zimene zinanditsimikizira kuti koma ndiye chinthu chinde ndi chofunikadi kwa mulimi.
So it gave me an assurance that indeed this is an important tool for a farmer.
Ndipo ndinafunsa choyambirira.
I asked
Ndinafunsa nkhani za nthochi.
I asked about bananas.
Kuti ukadzala nthochi imatenga nthawi yotalika bwanji kuti iyambe kubereka.
How long does it take for a banana tree to start bearing fruits? I asked Ulangizi.
inandiyankha kuti 3 to 4 years poyerekeza ndi mmene ukuyisamalira nthawi.
So it responded that it takes 3 to 4 years depending on how you are taking care of your banana plant.
Ndinali ndi chidwi ndi ulimi wina umene ndikungomva kumpana kuti macadamia.
So I was also interested in macadamia because I've been hearing about macadamia nuts, macadamia, growing of macadamia. So I asked a question.
Ndinafunsa kuti zimatenga nthawi yotalika bwanji kuti ukhoza kukolola macadamia.
So I asked, how long does it really take to start harvesting from a macadamia tree?
Anandiyankha kuti 4 to 5 years poyerekezanso ndi mmene ukusamalira.
It responded that it takes 4 to 5 years depending on how you are taking care of the tree.
Ndinafunsanso nkhani za chiwawu cha msoya.
So I also asked about soybean rust.
Ndinafunsa kuti tingathane nacho bwanji chiwawu.
I asked on how best can we deal with chiwawu because it is a very big problem for us farmers in that value chain.
Ndinawuzidwa kuti zimafunika kukopera mankhwala matenda aja asanafike.
It responded that I need to spray herbicides before the disease emerges.
Ndi ndinafunsanso kuti ndi mankhwala anja amene ndingathire.
I continued to ask what kind of herbicide can I apply in my soybean to avoid soybean rust.
Anandiwuza kuti Manlax.
So it told me that I should apply Manlax.
Kuchokapo ndinafunsanso nkhani za michere muthaka.
I had also time to ask about the acidity and alkalinity of my soil.
Ndinayankhidwa kuti munthaka yabwino mumapezeka zinc, potassium.
So it responded that in a good soil there should be zinc, potassium,
phosphorus, ndi zina zambiri.
and many more.
Ndinajambulaso chithunzi chifukwa ulangizi apo umatheka kujambula chithunzi ndikutumiza.
So I also took a picture because in Ulangizi you can take a picture, send, and it responds.
Ndinajambula chithunzi cha mtedza umene umaoneka kuti umauma koma usanakhwime usanaji.
So I took a picture of a groundnut plant that was dry. It was getting dry before its full maturity. So I took that picture.
Ne ulangizi yeya unandiuza kuti chithunzi ichi kuoneka kuti chikupsinjika ndi zinthu zitatu.
So Ulangizi AI told me that the plant is mainly suffering from 3 things:
soyekera kwa chakudya munthaka,
lack of nutrients in the soil,
kapena munati zilombo,
pests,
kapenanso kuti chikusoyekera madzi kapena kuti zachilengedwe.
but also it shows that the tree or the plant is lacking water and some nutrients from the soil.
Ndi ndinatsimikiza kuti ndizoona ndipo tinali nthawi yoti mvula yasiya sikubwera kwa 3 weeks.
So I was convinced that this is true because we had a drought for 3 weeks in this planting season.
Ndinadziwa kuti chiwuma chifukwa chikusowa madzi.
So I knew that the plant is drying up because it is lacking water.
Amene ndi mafunso amene nafunsa kuyambirira pa ulangizi apo.
These are the questions that I asked when I started using Ulangizi app. Kodi zimenezi mumafunsa kuti musanayambe kufunsa pa Ulangizi app. I'm asking Anna where she was taking this information before she started using Ulangizi app.
Ulangizi app usanabwere,
Before Ulangizi app,
mafunso ngati amenewa timayenda mtunda wautali mwina 20 kilometers.
we were walking a distance on foot about 20 kilometers
kupita kumene kuli ofisi ya boma
to go to the government office and extension planning area.
kuti tikafunse kuti vuto ndi chani, ndi nthawi zina timathandizika, nthawi zina mwina tikapezeka kupanda anthu.
So sometimes when we're there, we will get help, and sometimes we find the office closed because the officers were out in the field. So that's where we're getting our help before Ulangizi. Thank you so much, Anna.
Thank you.
Kodi ndi mavuto anji amene mukukumana nawo kugwiritsa ntchito ulangizi.
Chifukwa
I'm asking what are some of the challenges that she is encountering with the app. Yes, Sana.
tili nawo mavuto amene tikukumana nawo.
We have challenges that we are encountering in using Ulangizi.
Choyambirira ndi nkhani za intaneti.
Our internet in Malawi is a problem.
Kodi malo ena alipo kumene network kulibepo.
There are literally some places in our area where there is no network internet connection, zero.
Ndiye ukapita kumeneko kuti ufunse sizimatheka.
So when you are there with farmers to ask a question and farmers are keen to have questions from Ulangizi, it doesn't happen because of the internet connection.
Komanso nkhani ina ndi achichewa cha madera chimene timayankhula.
So another problem is about the language.
Ndiye kuti ugwiritse ntchito Ulangizi app sizimatheka.
So sometimes the language that Ulangizi is conversant with is not the language that people are commonly used to.
Mwachitsanzo,
For example,
ndinafunsa nkhani za kaufiti.
I asked about which will.
Kuti kodi kaufiti tingathane naye bwanji.
So I asked on how best we can deal with this type of weed.
Komano Ulangizi app anandiyankha kuti iyeyo zaufiti amapanga nawo.
So Ulangizi AI answered me to say, me, I am not a witch. I don't deal with witches. I have nothing to do with that. Ask me about agricultural related questions.
Komanso mavuto ena ndi nkhani za kwa amene samadziwa kulemba komanso kuwerenga.
So another problem is for people who doesn't know how to read and to write.
Ndiye kuti sizitheka.
It is so difficult to help them because if they have the app by themselves, they will not use it. So it needs our availability to take a message to them because we ask and then give them answers. That's a solution to it.
Amene ndiye mavuto amene tikukumana nawo nkhani ya Ulangizi app.
So these are some of the challenges that we are meeting when we are using Ulangizi app. Ndimafuna ndikufunse Swana. Kodi Ulangizi app ikuthandizira motani ku ulimi wanu? Komanso kodi mukuona ngati alimi atha kupindula motani kugwiritsa ntchito Ulangizi app? Has the Ulangizi app changed how you farm? Or do you think other farmers will have the potential to use it, but also to benefit from it?
Ulangizi app ndi chinthu chofunikira kwambiri.
So Ulangizi app, I see it as an important app for farmers.
Chifukwa ndikiyi imene mulimi amagwiritsa ntchito.
It's like a key that can help a farmer in planning, but also to use it on daily basis.
Mulimi atha kusintha pogwiritsa ntchito app imeneyi.
A farmer can transform her or his life by using this app.
Ifoti ngati munda mwake mukupezeka matenda kapena tizilombo, akangofunsa ndi app iyi apeza mayankho pompopompo komanso solution kuti kodi athana nazo bwanji.
When a farmer asks a question in case there are pests and diseases in the farm, he gets or she gets responses there and then, but also knows what's the remedy for that problem.
Komanso ngati munda mwake mukusowekera chonde, akafunsa pa app kumuwuza ndiye kuti iye akonzekera kuti ulimi wa chaka chinachi akhoza kudzapindula kusiyana ndi mmene zinalili mbuyo.
So in cases where the soil is infertile, if he or she, a farmer asks a question, she can get responses or he can get responses from the app, but also helps in planning for the next season to avoid the things that they have encountered in this season. As a farmer, I've been helped to get information.
Zimenezo zimene zikuthandizira kuti mulimi ayenera kusintha.
So
the app.
These are some of the things that I believe, that a farmer can change and transform their lives and earn more at the end of the day. Thank you.
Thanks, Bhahati and Anna. We are just so absolutely grateful that you have leaned in with us to develop these innovations. And this was not developed by us. This was really a collaboration between Anna, your wisdom, and us listening. And at the same time, we also know that when farmers thrive, communities thrive. We also know that ending poverty will not be possible without solutions that equip and empower farmers and continue to support farmers like Anna in your faith in the future. But most importantly, I continue to get inspiration from you, Anna, in terms of your faith in the future and what might be possible. With that, really as we look at family and vision and agriculture altogether, I have one more very important question for you, Anna, and especially given that we're also joined here today in the office with your new daughter, Hannah, who's absolutely beautiful. Anna, will you share for a minute what your plans are for your farm and also your hopes for your family's future?
Mungagawane nafe malingaliro anu mmene mukufuna mutapangira malingaliro anu chiyembekezo chanu chamtsogolo komanso cha banja lanu. Mugawane nafe.
Ndizotheka kutero.
It's possible, I'll tell you.
Malingaliro a banja langa.
The thoughts that I have for my family.
Ndikufuna nditakuza munda wanga.
I would like to grow my farm.
Kuchokera
My
pa
farm.
3 acres
From 3 acres
to 6 acres.
to 6 acres.
Komanso kufuna kuthamo manyowa munda.
But also I would like to practice, to apply manure in my field, my garden.
Cholinga chothira manyowa ndi nkhani za kusintha kwa nyengo.
I would like to circum the climate change,
Chifukwa choti manyowa amasunga nyezi ngati mvula yache.
because manure will reserve the moisture, soil moisture, when it's time for droughts like this year. We have experienced a very, very big drought.
Komanso kugwiritsa ntchito maulangizi matekinoloji ndi cholinga chofuna kukolola zochuluka pamalo ochepa.
I would like also to use the available technology so that I can be able to harvest more in a very small piece of land.
According to my future, kapena my vision.
That's my vision.
Ndikufuna nditapanga nyumba ya malata.
I would like to build a house. It should be with iron sheets, not glass.
Cement,
It should have a cemented floor.
komanso magetsi,
I would like also to have electricity.
komanso malabu amadzi.
I would like also to drink water from the tap, not from the well as I do.
Kwina kuti kupititsa ana ku sukulu.
On the other hand, I would like also to be sending my children to school so that they can be educated.
Ndi cholinga choti ana aja akaphunzira ifeno mphamvu zikamadza chepa lizakhale thandizo lathu.
So that when I grow up and I am weak, the children can be my hand in that time.
Amenewa ndi masomphenya anga.
And that is my vision. Thank you.
That's absolutely fantastic. Thank you, Anna. Thank you, Bhahati, for interpreting it as well. This is all exciting. And what Anna's comments also made me chuckle on my end is a long old joke. Sorry, my apologies for the dad joke, but differentiating between running water and walking water. So I think that's definitely a good vision in the long term. All of this being said, it's exciting what innovation can do. It's exciting what technology can do. And there really are, so many opportunities to highlight the incredible benefits that technology has to offer. And from our perspective, though, these are only impactful for our clients because they're layered onto the foundation of relationships between people and between people who deeply care for and support one another. So for us, nothing will replace the trust that our farmer support agents, our local leaders, and our staff build when they're visiting clients week in and week out. All of this technology is just an amplifier for trust.
Thank you, Tim. That's fantastic. I think as I was listening to the three of you talk, I was reflecting that the 17 Global Development Goals give us 17 really good reasons to unleash collaborative problem solving. And Anna is a powerful reminder that innovation really starts with the problem holder. We can't jump to the solutions. So there've been some great questions coming in. We're running out of time, but we're going to extend the conversation just a little bit. So do stay with us if you can. The first question, I think, for Bhahati and Anna. Anna, how do you get connectivity in the rural areas? Obviously, this being a digital app. And what happens when you can't connect? Do farmer support agents' digital tools work offline? So that's a question for Bhahati or Anna. Thank you.
Ana, mumabanga bwanji yakhala kuti palibepo connection, internet palibe, chifukwa ti digital innovations ambiri amakhala offline. Ndi mumatani yakhala palibepo internet.
ngati palibe intaneti
So when there is no internet,
timatenga funso lija mwina kungoliliyepa pamene paja.
I take the question and write it down in my my notebook.
Ndikakapita malo amene pali network
So when I go to a place where I have network,
ndimakalilemba funso lija pa Ulangizi app kuti ndimve ma.
I text the question in the Ulangizi and then it responds.
Kenako ndimapita kwa mwini wake munda uja.
So I go on another day or the same day if it's closer to the owner of the question
Ndikukamuuza zimene Ulangizi app wandiuza.
and communicate back on what response I've gotten from Ulangizi AI. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you, Anna, so much. It's really interesting to hear about the challenges, and it helps us to think as well again about how we might be able to address some of those with future innovations. Now, if you don't mind, a question for you, Tim. What percentage of opportunities farmers currently use a digital savings app? Do you have a sense? Could you give us a sense of that? Thank you.
Yeah, so I think one of the things that we should bear in mind is that roughly about 45% of the farmers we serve are in savings groups. It's not the entirety. So this is not necessarily a solution that's ubiquitous for everyone. But what's most exciting for me is that this is also where the majority of female farmers receive services. So making sure that we design for those who are out of reach is critical. Currently, we're testing and piloting this within 5 different markets. So not everywhere and all the time, but continuing to scale that up. I actually had just a very exciting meeting just prior to this about new markets and new opportunities to really put digitizations of savings groups into play. Deborah, before we jump to the next question, though, I just wanted to add on one thing to Bhahati and Anna's comments about internet connectivity. And just very briefly, what has been stunning for me just over the last year is the new advances in terms of internet connectivity. We've been testing in a number of markets what's possible with Starlink for satellite technology and internet connectivity. And even in some of the most remote areas where we've been working, we've had internet speeds recorded 10 times faster and more stable than even our Chicago head offices on a day-on-day test. So really seeing that start to be unleashed for me is hope in terms of where we're taking this and how do we take this to farmers who haven't been served. Sorry about the extra additive piece there, Deborah.
No, that's wonderful, Tim. And it's just so encouraging to hear that. Really, really absolutely fantastic. Thank you. So moving on from that, maybe in terms of the access piece. So a question for Bhahati, probably, I think. It seems to be clear that the benefits of the app are very clear. What about the cost of a phone and the connectivity, the cost that Anna and farmers like Anna face? I guess the question is it affordable or not? Do you have a comment on that, Bhahati?
Yeah, thank you so much for that question. About the cost of the phone, I would like to highlight that most of our FSAs have got the smartphones that we have issued to help the farmers that are within their communities. So each and every FSA, for example, for me, I managed to about 200 FSAs with my team that I manage, but these ones have got smartphones that the Opportunity International has provided them to help at least 150 farmers for each and every FSA. Like Anna has got 100, so it's between 100 to 150. So about the internet connection or data bundles opportunities, now currently issuing these data bundles so that they should overcome the issues of lack of, our farmers, they should overcome the problem of lack of data bundles to use so that they can be connected most of the times. But also I should echo with Tim that now our internet is improving and in most of the areas have got internet connection. So with the data bundles, our farmers are able to reach what they need to. They are able to reach out to other farmers, but also give them the required help. Not only that, even our trainings, we use most of them are videos. So for them to use that, for them to download stuff, for them to connect and communicate That's what we do. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Bhahati. That's really helpful for us to understand. I think we're running out of time. I just want to possibly ask one final question for Tim, and then we'll close the meeting. But Tim, you've mentioned that only 3% of the AgFinance demand is met, that demand for finance for agriculture. What do you think, very shortly, if you may, the main obstacles are in terms of getting participation in commercial finance?
Deborah, I like your addition there very shortly. I think I can do a 3-hour lecture in terms of some of the perceived risk in financing farmers. And this has been a legacy problem. This is actually also a problem within the United States, within the UK, in terms of really making sure that farmers have what they need. The first easy answer is perceived risk. A lot of financiers and bankers just perceive farmers as too risky. When you think about how do we get finance in the United States or the UK, we have FICO and Experian credit scores, credit histories. The banks are able to lean and rely on a lot of information. I think for the unfortunate reality, though, is that smallholder farmers, particularly across sub-Saharan Africa, still are invisible, and they don't have that data. So a lot of our hope is that in developing more innovative technologies, seeing the digitization of processes, can start help building that footprint for a stronger future of our farmers as we continue in this. So, Deborah, that's the best I can do for a brief answer on that one.
That was excellent. Thank you, Tim. Now, unfortunately, I think we really are out of time. Thank you so much, everyone, for the thoughtful questions. I'm sorry we couldn't get them all. And most importantly, Anna, thank you for taking time away from your baby, from your many responsibilities to come here and share about your experiences with our supporters. Thank you, Bhahati. Thank you, Tim. And thank you to each of our guests for joining us and seeing the innovations that you're making possible. If you do feel called right now to support this incredible work, you can make a gift in the link in the chat. Feel free always to reach out to your opportunity contact, learn more. I think the future of digital innovations like these that we've discussed today is truly only limited by our ability to imagine it. And I can tell you that Opportunity is applying that same human-centered design concepts that Tim mentioned earlier to our other programs. Ensure we're focusing on the biggest needs of our clients, and all with the goal of better serving more people living in extreme poverty. So thank you all so much, and really hope you have a great rest of your day. Bye-bye.